Lake Superior provides the giant pathway for easy shipment of hundreds of millions of tons of iron ore. The ore flows from the mines and mills of northern Michigan and Minnesota down the lakes to the great steel mills of Chicago, Gary, Detroit, Cleveland, and Buffalo. On the south shore of Lake Superior, in Marquette on Michigan's Upper Peninsula, one can witness the cliff's natural resources or operations. The Lake Superior and Ishpeming Railroad, chartered in 1896, continues to operate as an independent railroad to this day under the Cliffs Natural Resources flag. This unique operation and the beautiful setting on Lake Superior provide a great destination for rail fans wanting to experience an operating railroad history museum and the natural beauty of the Great Lakes. Come along as we railfan the Lake Superior and Ishpeming Railroad, from mine to shore on Michigan's Upper Peninsula. Our first catch of the day is at Palmer Line Junction on LS&I's Ore Subdivision. Palmer Line Junction is milepost 68.83 on the LS&I Ore Sub and milepost 66.1 for the CN. First up is an interesting CN freight bound for interchange with the Mineral Range Railroad at Ishpeming. The special covered gondolas seen on this train receive powdered copper and nickel ore concentrate from the Eagle Mine Humboldt Mill for shipping to mills in Canada or overseas. Our first LS&I train, a loaded pellet train, pulls through the sag past Palmer Line Junction on LS&I's Ore Subdivision. This train is eastbound, and the speed here at Palmer Line Junction is 10 miles per hour. Top speed for the railroad is 20 miles per hour. pair of ancient GE U-boats leads the second pellet train of the day, originating at the Tilden mine, past our location at Palmer Line Junction. These units are the last currently functioning U-boats in the U.S. These units are old GE U-30Cs rated at 3,000 horsepower with 100,000 pounds of tractive effort each. As with many railroads that haul taconite ore, it doesn't take a detective to spot which tracks are used for dedicated ore shipment. This is due to the large amounts of pellets that lay on the roadbed, which escape during shipment. At Eagle Mills West, the crossing of Highway 35, we view an eastbound train, the 7 Tilden job, bound for Eagle Mills Yard. This location is only 1 mile west of Eagle Mills Y and Yard. We see the same train at Eagle Mills Yard, now having pulled around the Y, headed briefly west toward Ishpeming. LS&I runs these shuttle trains between the Tilden mine and Eagle Mills Yard for holding before sending the loads to the dock. The conductor lines the switch to allow the train to shove back into what LS&I designates as the new yard at Eagle Mills. Once lined, the engineer cracks the throttle, The old GE C30-7s chug ahead. As we mentioned, this line is like a living railroad history museum. In an age where most mainline road crossings have been replaced with electronic bells, we hear the old clank from the original mechanical bells on these crossing signals. We also see various styles of ore jennies, such as this one with a build date of 1937, just before the engineer makes his shove back into the Eagle Mills Y. Back at Eagle Mills West, we see two of the railroad's newer GEs handle a loaded pellet train eastbound, bound for Eagle Mills Yard. We've moved now to the LS&I Presque Isle ore dock at Marquette. Pellet trains are stored at the Marquette West Yard for the dock nearby. The LS&I operates the dock job, and their task is to spot and dump ore jennies on the massive dock. This is called charging the dock. We see two of the newer, powerful GE AC 4400 CWs work the dock. Locomotives CEFX 1003 and 1015 with 4,400 horsepower and 180,000 pounds of tractive effort each carefully spot the jennies above the dock pockets. This steel dock was constructed in 1912, replacing a wooden one built in 1896, and is 1,250 feet long, 60 feet wide, and the deck is 75 feet above the water. It has 200 pockets, each holding 250 tons of iron ore pellets. The total storage capacity of the dock is 50,000 tons, providing an annual shipping capacity of 10 million tons. The railroad's approach to the dock is 1 mile long on a 1.5% grade, and the shoving speed on the dock is 5 miles per hour. It's 6:20 p.m., and an evening mist sets in over Lake Superior in this tranquil scene. We are at the Presque Isle Marina in the Marquette Upper Harbor as we see the MV Maumee, a tug-barge combination vessel, approach the dock in the calm of Lake Superior's evening mist. This vessel is a unique tug-barge combination. In 2008, the tug Victory was mated with the hull of the previous boat Reserve. This concatenated vessel is commonly known as Maumee II. She is 703 feet long, 70 feet wide, draws 26 feet at midsummer draft, and carries 25,500 tons. We see the Maumee make a turn to port to transit the upper harbor and moor on the north side of the Marquette dock. The captain eases the vessel alongside the dock, utilizing bow and aft thrusters to align the boat and gently dock. Notice the bow thrusters working in the docking process. Casting the mooring lines, the crew member attaches the line to the dock cleat and the crew pulls the vessel into dock. Crew members immediately begin opening the deck hatches in preparation for loading. A crew member uses the hatch crane, or iron deckhand as it's often called, to lift the heavy steel hatch coverings on the vessel. The loading process is efficient and these crews have it down to a science. The MV Maumee will take approximately 6 hours to load and will depart early the next morning. The next day we see the motor vessel K.E. Barker on the south side of the Marquette dock awaiting its load. Note that empty, the vessel sits high with an approximate 7 to 8 foot draw exposing the bow thrusters. The Barker is 767 feet long, 70 feet wide, and carries 25,900 tons of cargo. The loading process is methodical and gradual. The dock workers execute this process in concert with the ship's crew. There is a specific order for loading a vessel to ensure no stress is exerted on one part of the hull. Therefore, pellets must be loaded in small portions, spacing them evenly throughout the hull. Also, weight must be gradually distributed fore and aft, port to starboard, as the process continues. This takes roughly 6 hours to accomplish the loading. The loading process on the Marquette dock is a gravity feed method, meaning it is a complete manual dump without any belt mechanisms. We see the dock workers lowering the chutes and opening the hatches for each dock pocket, allowing 200 tons of ore pellets at a time to gravity dump into the Barker. The crew must then raise the chute mechanically. We see multiple dock crews work several chutes at a time to load the Barker in an even manner. 200 tons of pellets from each dock pocket plunge into the Barker. An impressive sight and sound as sometimes 1,000 tons at a time are fed into the vessel. This process has been executed constantly since the dock was opened, giving us another glimpse into this living history museum. Furthermore, the K.E. Barker was constructed in 1951 as the Edward B. Greene for the Cleveland Cliffs Steamship Company. She was later sold to Rouge Steel, a division of Ford Corporation, and renamed Benson Ford. Finally, Interlake Steamship Company purchased her in 1989 and renamed her the K.E. Barker in honor of the wife of James R. Barker of the Interlake Mormac Group. Together, the vessel, dock, and railroad. This could be a scene from 1950. Now silent, the loading process has been completed. Note that the vessel is now sitting at a draft of 17 feet, 10 feet lower than empty, and the K.E. Barker will soon be ready for her journey down the lakes. She typically delivers to a mill in Dearborn, Michigan. We are at Forestville Road Crossing, milepost 58, just 3 miles uphill and west of the ore dock as a train of empties heads back to Eagle Mills Yard. Relocated on the east end of Eagle Mills Yard at the Rhine and Road crossing, we see the same train of empties from the dock arrive. Getting a diverging clear signal, the engineer slugs the empties up the grade with the GE AC traction units into Eagle Mills Yard. At Eagle Mills Junction, milepost 68.13, about 3 miles west of Eagle Mills Yard, we see evidence of many ore trains passing. U-boats 3009 and 3000 easily handle the empties back to Tilden mine. Our last train, fittingly pulled by the power of the future, GE AC 4400 CWs, heads through Eagle Mills Junction back to the mine, with other raw materials for the ore process, bentonite clay and sodium hydroxide solution. We end our short visit up north with one last look at the restless waves of Lake Superior, or Gitchigumi by the native Ojibwe. Thanks for watching, and we hope to be back someday to see this beautiful country and this amazing living railroad history museum in other seasons of the year.